Hello everyone, my name is Raven Bridget. Welcome to Corvid Collections. Today we're going to be looking at Super 7 Andre the Giant, aka Giant Roussimoff. Let's look at the eighth wonder of the world himself, Andre the Giant, specifically Giant Roussimoff. As you can see here, he has this beautiful cloth entrance robe with the sash, and the Japanese lettering on the sash. You can also see that he is holding a beer can. If you look closely, the beer can actually says Biru on it because it's a Japanese beer can there. Honestly, I really do like this Andre the Giant. I think it's a really good representation of him. You know, if you're a big Andre the Giant fan, there was no other way than through Super 7 that this figure was going to be made. And seeing a representation of Andre the Giant's run in Japan is honestly really awesome. But this figure is certainly not perfect, so let's sort of dig into it here real quick. So here's what Andre looks like without the entrance jacket here, the entrance robe. You can also see that he comes with two other interchangeable heads, as well as four different styles of interchangeable hands that I tried to represent here. We've got the gripping hand that he can hold the beer in. He's got the sort of relaxed looking hand. He's got sort of a slapping straight hand, and then he's also got fists. I'm not going to harp too much on the articulation. As we know with these Super 7 figures, they do have somewhat limited articulation. This one actually moves, I think it doesn't move a whole lot there at the waist there, but they do have single jointed knees, which is definitely less articulation than the Mattel Elite figures have. They also have single jointed arms, which a lot of the figures have been really moving towards having double jointed arms. So a lot of people are not a fan of the articulation. The heads are definitely more cartoony than a lot of what we're used to. And the other thing that I will point out is that I definitely had some degree of staining on this figure. It is not terrible with the red, but there is some non-trivial staining of the red on the back. It really doesn't look all that bad, but I definitely found it noticeable. There was also some at the stomach, but really not that big of a deal on this particular figure, the staining. The height is really good. If anything, probably would lean a little bit too big, but I think that with someone like Andre, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And overall, I think it's a really solid figure of Andre. If somewhat plain and somewhat less of a well-known look of Andre's.